Good evening. It is the 13th day of May 2024, exactly 10 days before President Joe Biden of the United States welcomes Dr. William Ruto on the state visit, the first since 2008. And that will be the basis of our conversation tonight on Power and Politics that we bring you every Monday right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. My guest tonight, none other than Felix Okach, EBS. He is a multilateral trade expert, as well as Barnabas Boyd, a political strategist or advisor. Those are our guests for tonight as we debunk what this state visit means for the Republic of Kenya. Those are my guests tonight, as I informed you, Barnabas Boyd, as well as Felix Okach will be able to debunk and to tell us what this state visit means, especially for the Republic of Kenya. Remember, there is a strategic trade and investment partnership, STIP, which will be among the issues, top issues, as well as other agenda that the president will be embarking on this state visit this year, 2024, specifically when he is welcomed to the White House by President Joe Biden. Welcome to the broadcast. I am George Maringa. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai. We have a jam-packed bulletin for you, but before that important conversation, here are the highlights. Tonight, we share further details into two shocking murders that have rocked the city of Nairobi. Detectives are trying to find out, could 19-year-old Faith Musiembi's longtime lover be behind her death? And who killed Ramesh Maini and tried to pass it off as a road accident? Patchy turnout as parents and students attempt to meet the new school's reopening date today. What's behind the lackluster turnout in many parts of the country? Plus, embattled agriculture CS Mithika Linturi survives impeachment process. But for how long will his luck last? We thank you for those of you watching us on terrestrial platforms, as well as our website, even on YouTube at George Maringa _ is where you can find me on X, formerly Twitter. You can also tweet us or post to us on at TV47 News. We thank you for making time for us and for choosing TV47 to inform you. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? And a 25-year-old student from Tomboya University is being held by police in Thika as the main suspect in the murder of 19-year-old university student Faith Musiembi. Musiembi was found dead at her rented apartment in Pilot Estate of Thika Town in Kiambu County after earlier being reported missing. The suspect is believed to have been the lover of Musiembi, with preliminary investigations pointing to a love gone sour before the tragic incident. Moiga William made up a follow-up on the story and opens our broadcast tonight with this report.
At the Thika Sub-County Police Headquarters, sleuths have made headway into the murder of Faith Musiembi by detaining a student of Tomboya University in Homa Bay as the main suspect. According to Lawrence Mushangi, the Thika Sub-County Police Commander, the suspect is believed to be the boyfriend of the slain university girl.
After thorough investigation, it was revealed that the matter before us, it was because of unfaithfulness that led to this suspect to kill this girl.
Confirming the arrest of the 25-year-old student, Mushangi revealed preliminary investigations into the murder point to a strained relationship marred with accusations of infidelity. The sub-county police commander added that the two had known each other for close to 6 years, apparently having both hailed from the same locality in Machakos County.
This boy sees that due to the frustration that this girl had other boyfriends, That's why he made a decision to eliminate the girl. The suspect alleged that the girl had 4 other male partners.
By Monday afternoon, investigators were still combing through the crime scene, the rented apartment of Musembi located at Pilot Estate, Thika Town, in search of more evidence. The main suspect is said to be arraigned on Wednesday to face murder charges. Sources familiar to the investigations revealed that the suspect admitted to investigators to have committed the heinous act, tragically ending Musembi's life.
The two come from the same area, that is Machakos. The suspect is also a student at BAMBA University. They have cohabited for the last 6 years.
Musembi's lifeless body was discovered on the 9th of this month after her parents mounted a search party following a message sent to them in demand of 27,000 shillings ransom for the release of their daughter. The family of Faith Musembi has called on investigators and the police at large to conduct speedy investigations into the death of their kin. Mwege William, TV47, Thika, Kiambu County.
Thank you, Moige, for that. Detectives based at the Gigiri Police Station here in Nairobi have launched investigations following the murder of a businessman whose blood-stained body was discovered in his car with stab wounds. Initial investigations indicate that those behind the murder wanted it to look like an accident along the Ngesha Road in Nyari. Mike Kagwongo now reports.
The murder of prominent businessman Somesh Ramesh Maini in Nairobi remains a puzzle which detectives are trying to unravel in order to understand what transpired on Saturday night. Reports from police officers who visited the scene of crime indicate that Ramesh left his house in Spring Valley around 11 p.m. on Saturday. After receiving a phone call, members of the family remain unaware of who called him. Lead investigator Robinson Cherenge said they were informed of the sighting of an abnormally parked car identified as Lexus LX SUV, registration number KBH 055Y, along Ngesha Road in Nyari. Upon reaching there, they discovered that the owner of the vehicle had been murdered, contrary to initial reports that he may have been involved in an accident. Upon arrival, Cherenge said they found Ramesh's body placed on the front seat. The car had been pushed into a ditch to mimic an accident. His body had 3 stab wounds, including on his chest and thighs. Police say the murder suspects tried to touch the car in a bid to hide evidence, to no avail. Our efforts to get a word from his family, however, hit a wall after his relatives declined to speak to the press. His body is being preserved at the MP Shah Hospital morgue as investigations continue. The puzzle between what transpired before the gruesome murder of the 50-year-old businessman Somesh Ramesh here in Ngesha Road will only be unraveled by investigative officers upon grilling his closest.
Secretary Mithika Linturi, the 7-member select committee assigned with investigating the allegations against the CS, presented its findings before the National Assembly, sparking a wave of mixed reactions that could possibly take the August House back to the drawing board.
Honorable Speaker, I want to persuade my colleague members not to give up, regardless of what the minority of 7 members have decided. Honorable Speaker, against all the available evidence.
The law against the embattled agriculture CS was unsubstantiated.
The allegation under ground 1 on gross violation of the Constitution or any other law, ground 2 on serious reasons for believing that the Cabinet Secretary has committed a crime under national law, and ground 3 on the gross misconduct as outlined in the special motion are unsubstantiated.
However, this announcement was deemed as a misconduct by some members of the committee, as stated in a section of members of parliament who also raised questions on the independence of the report and the select committee.
The committee went and turned itself into a Supreme Court of Parliament of Kenya, presided over, Mr. Speaker, by the Lady Justice Naomi Wako. And Mr. Speaker, the rest of us became judges.
To suggest that the members would accept a report one way or the other without applying their cognitive abilities to it, either to understand that the issues were unsubstantiated or not, would be to deny this House its own conscience and to take away its power to debate.
A motion by Bumula Member of Parliament Jack Wamboka to have Agriculture CS dismissed from office was on grounds that the CS submitted false information to the Parliamentary Committee investigating the controversial matter that saw farmers in the country receive soil conditioner disguised as fertilizer. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Anne, for that. Schools were to reopen for the second term on April 29th, but the government put it off in the wake of heavy rainfall and devastating floods, which have so far killed over 257 people, as President William Ruto last week announced that learners would return to school on this Monday. Chichi Josephine takes a look at the scenario, or rather how the scenario was like across the nation.
Following President William Ruto's directive to have schools open on Monday 13, the head of state officially opened the Lenana School Primary in Nairobi, where he assured that the government will build and equip 24 more classrooms for the school after some classes were destroyed by floods during the recent heavy rainfall, a promise that he extended to all schools across the country suffering the same fate.
Tumeweka pesa ya kutosha na wabunge wetu kupitia hazina ya ZDF ya kwamba kama kuna mashule imeharibika, sehemu zingine zimeharibika, vifaa shuleni zimeharibika, zitatengenezwa ndio watoto wetu wote wapate nafasi ya kusoma. Hapa tunahitaji madarasa mengine 24. Na mimi nimejitolea, sio wizara, mimi mwenyewe nitajenga hizo madarasa 24.
In Machakos County, very few students were seen in the bus park, with few activities taking place as matatu operators at the bus park lamented the slow business, a far cry from what is normally expected on school opening days.
Si wengi vile watoto wakianza kufungua shule huwa tunawaona kwa kila msimu wa kufungua shule.
Elsewhere in Baringo North, 20 schools which were closed indefinitely owing to banditry attack are to reopen as parents and pupils who fled the area are to return back to their homes 2 months after they fled for their lives.
Sasa hiyo watoto wetu hakuna pahali wataenda. Tuko nao tu nyumbani hapa kwa camp. Tumebaki tukuishi hapa, hata tujui tutawapeleka wapi.
At Ngaratoko Primary School, the offices remained closed as a part of the administration block was raised down by bandits. School head teacher Charles Tara said no single pupil had reported to school yet.
Hakuna mwanafunzi amewasili, na jambo hili linajulikana kabisa. Wasasi wamehama, wasasi wako upande wa Marigat, huko Chabarsiat, upande wa Koroto Kipcherere.
Speaking at Osodo Primary in Rachuonyo North Sub-County, Homa Bay County Education Director Eunice Haimba said most of the schools in the county are now accessible, except Sikri Jerusalem, where a bridge was swept away by floods, making it difficult for school-going pupils.
Our learners are in the schools so far, save for one school in Bita Sub-County called Sikri Jerusalem. The children used to cross on a bridge made of stone, but it has since been submerged. So because of that, some of the children who are coming from the mainland were cut off.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Thank you, Chichi, for that. One more person has died from the floods, bringing the total death toll from the floods to 277. The government spokesperson, Dr. Isaac Maura, alongside several advisories, issued several advisories for Kenyans to take more caution while trading flooded roads, and has insisted that evicting individuals living along riparian lands is not political driven, but rather for the safety of Kenyans. Let's hear more.
Despite less rains that have been experienced in some parts of the country in the recent days, Kenyans have been advised to still remain vigilant, with the government spokesperson Dr. Isaac Mwaura urging parents and guardians to be more vigilant, especially with children going back to school. The government spokesperson further announced that the death toll caused by the ravaging floods in some parts of the country had risen after one more person succumbed in the past 24 hours.
We are sorry to report that the impact of the floods has continued to claim more lives, and as at now, the national tally is 277. We have lost one life in the last 24 hours, and a total of 41,825 people have been affected by the flooding. A total of 58,009 households have been displaced in Nairobi County, adding to the number of 55,575 displaced households countrywide.
He further notes that political leaders should not politicize the eviction of those living within riparian land and its environs, insisting that the move is aimed at saving lives.
We've already taken precautionary measures. In water, and also places that are susceptible to mudslides, so that then we don't have any fatalities as a result.
This as the Red Cross now says more people could be displaced, especially in Budalangi and Nyando areas in Western and Nyanza region. The country, they say, is still in the danger zone as the rainfall remains above average. Hibak Said for TV47.
Thank you, Hibak, for that report, which leads us to a short break right here on the Daily Report. Remember, we host Felix Okach, who is a multilateral trade expert, as well as Barnabas Boyd, a political strategist and advisor regarding the upcoming state visit of President William Ruto to the United States and what this means, especially for Kenya. We are back in a few minutes with that and much more after this short commercial break.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business. It's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha today spearheaded the National Health Insurance Fund NHIF asset verification exercise, thus marking a significant step towards the transition to new Social Health Authority, SHA. The ministry is seeking to start implementation of SHA by July 1st after successfully registering Kenyans into the new health system. The verification exercise targets to identify assets and liabilities held by the National Health Insurance Fund NHIF across its headquarters, branches, satellites, and various Huduma centers before their transfer to SHA.
It kickstarts the verification of NHIF assets and liabilities, and this is to ensure that we have an effective transition to Social Health Authority. This verification is in line with the government's commitment to ensure a seamless transition from NHIF to SHA, one that does not disrupt service delivery to the people of Kenya. We did gazette the transition committee towards the end of November, and we had a very strict timeline because our expectation is that from the 1st of July, SHA must be providing services to Kenyans. So for the team that is going to go out, please note that we have strict timelines, but that does not mean that you do the wrong thing. As a ministry, we have committed that from the 1st of July, indeed, Kenyans shall be accessing services from Social Health Authority. So we anticipate that immediately this month, we will begin household registration. And while this is happening, I want to assure Kenyans that NHIF is still up and running to provide services.
Now, after Tana River broke its banks, Garsen-Lamu Main Road was rendered impassable after one road at 3 different spots at Gamba. The same spot was rendered impassable just last year and promptly repaired by the authorities. However, the calamity has struck the very spot again. The situation has affected transport sector in the region. Students, critical condition patients and ordinary travelers are building materials and other heavy luggage attract a high cost. More than 3,000 families are now depending on relief aid from the Red Cross Society and the 2 affected counties of Lamu and Tana River for survival, on top of government calls to evacuate or be forcefully moved. The stranded travelers are now calling on the government to issue a directive that will see the Masinga Dam and build a higher bridge at Gamba.
Serikali kila mwaka inatenga pesa za budget, mambo kama haya yakitokea. Sasa mwaka jana walitenga sijui ni bilioni ngapi, na hii kitu haikutokea. Wangekuwa wasubiri maji yakauka wakatengeneza hapa mahali, kwa sababu hapa mahali si mara ya